For Victims and Villains, my name is Josh, and I got another Fantasia Festival selection review for you. This is Occupy Cans. Occupy Cans just let out at Fantasia Festival, and here are my thoughts. This is a documentary that explores the Troma Entertainment crew attempting to essentially crash cans one more time while also simultaneously attempting to sell Return to Nukem High. I thought this movie was so inspiring. As somebody that is not only just a film critic, but a podcaster and also a film festival programmer, I have a special soft spot in my heart for indie films. I truly love independent films way more 9 times out of 10 than I do mainstream films. And that's not just me sounding like a film bro. That is genuinely my heart on the subject. And so when you have a world-renowned independent filmmaker like Lloyd Kaufman and the movement that he has inspired with Troma, really juxtaposing this very prestigious, traditionally, suit and tie type of festival, it is very inspiring, to say the least. This movie was very inspirational to me, both as a film lover and also as a film festival programmer as well. I wish to one day have the boldness that the Troma crew display here. Like, some of the displays that you see in this movie are just jaw-dropping. Like, not only are they funny, it's just kind of wild to know that this really happened, and the setting that it has essentially kind of set itself up against, I think, was just also made for a very entertaining movie nonetheless. This movie does what good documentaries do, and it showcases the subjects of the movie also being very vulnerable, and it's not this like good guy story where they're all going to win in the end. There are moments genuinely in this movie where you don't know if the goal that they're striving to is going to be met. There are several sad moments throughout the course of this film, and I think that anytime you have a documentary that embraces the downside of their subjects and showcases the real danger of whatever the documentary is about and makes their subject vulnerable, that is the markings of a fantastic documentary, and Occupy Cans has that in spades. In my lifetime, I have probably only seen 6 or 7 Troma movies, and every film that I've seen of them, aside from Toxie 4, come at me in the comments if you will, I thought that all of them have been phenomenal films, and it just have this way of being like very underappreciated in the grand scheme of the conversation, and it makes me very sad. But I think one thing I appreciate about this documentary is that you get to see the impact that Troma films as a company and as a movement have had on individuals, not just in the States, but worldwide as well. There are several interviews with people that have made up this movement, that inspired this film, where you really get to hear their stories about why they loved Troma and why they've stuck with it and why they are campaigning for Troma to be bigger than what it is. This movie, much like other Troma movies, is very funny in parts. Like, I was very surprised that this movie also was very funny in parts. This movie just embodies a wide array of emotions. That really surprised me, because most Troma movies I've seen are just fun camp movies, and this one is both of those things, but also at the same time, it has this really heartfelt edge to it that I really was not expecting. That's really all I gotta say about this movie. There's not a whole lot here, but I think this movie, just go check it out. If you're a fan of Troma, if you're a fan of documentaries, and you just love independent films, this is a movie that was tailor-made for people like us. With that said, I'm ready to run Occupy Cans through our Rorschach rating scale. I'm going to go ahead and give Occupy Cans a 4 out of 5. This is a very inspiring movie. This is the heartfelt movie of the year you didn't know you needed. This movie is weird, but this movie is also vulnerable and funny, and this movie feels like a documentary that was made by Trauma. It was made by Trauma fans for Trauma fans, and really at the end of the day, this movie is a stark love letter to independent films, the impact that art has on mental health, and the reason as to why we need to keep championing independent movies. Occupy Cans is an official selection of Fantasia Festival 2025. As of this video, there are currently no plans for distribution that I am aware of. However, if you follow our links in the descriptions below with our socials. We'll update you guys as we get them and any other festivals that they may be on as well. But let's talk about mental health, shall we? If you guys are new to our content here at Victims and Villains, we create content like what you're watching right now simply to talk about mental health and what it teaches us, what we learn from it through pop culture, from the movies which we're talking about. Honestly, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to dive into today, but this movie stresses the importance of art and the impact that it has on our mental health, how art can be used to be therapeutic in its creation, but also at the same time how in taking art, whether it is prestigious Criterion selections or something that is just really wild and goofy and weird, how they have this lasting impact on us to A, remind us that we're not alone, and that B, that there is always an outlet to explore whether we know it or not. I think this movie also serves as a reminder that films can be the linchpin of communities, that they can be the linchpin to friendships, lifelong brotherhoods, sisterhoods, marriages, etc. And we need community for our mental health as well. Just as much as we need to create art, consume art, we also need the communities that make up and build the foundations for that art as well. If you or someone you know is struggling with suicide, addiction, self-harm, or depression, please click the links in our show notes below to check out our mental health resource library. Once again, Occupy Cans is an official selection of Fantasia Festival 2025. In the show notes below, you guys will find more links to more titles making up this year's selections at Fantasia, along with links to our social media, mental health resource library, or how to support us on Patreon, more movie reviews like this, links to our podcast network, and that follow button. So until next time, remember to keep it classy and keep it spooky. Have a good night.